If you still unplug your laptop every time it hits 100%, you might be protecting your battery the wrong way. Because on a modern laptop, one of the habits people still think is healthy for the battery can actually wear it out faster over time. For years, we've been told the same thing. Don't leave your laptop plugged in too long, let it drain, and only charge it when you really need to. That advice used to sound smart. The problem is, it came from a different era of batteries. Meanwhile, in real life, millions of laptops sit plugged in all day at desks, in offices, in classrooms, and at home, and they still keep working just fine for years. So what really happens when your laptop stays plugged in? And is this battery warning just an outdated rule that no longer matches modern laptops? Today, we're breaking down how these batteries actually work, what really shortens their lifespan, and when keeping them plugged in actually helps more than it hurts. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly when leaving it plugged in helps your battery, and the 2 times you should absolutely unplug it. Now, here we go. If you're still in the habit of using your laptop until the screen goes black before plugging it in, you might actually be doing more harm than good. Almost all laptops today use lithium-ion batteries, which are a completely different beast from the old nickel batteries we used a decade ago. Those older batteries had a quirk called the memory effect, where you actually had to drain them to zero to keep them working right. Modern batteries don't work like that at all. In fact, they're happiest when they're just chilling somewhere in the middle, rather than constantly bouncing between being totally dead and 100% full. To pull this off, your laptop has a built-in battery management system. Think of it like a traffic cop directing the flow of electricity between the charger, the battery, and the computer itself. It's constantly watching the temperature and charge levels to make sure nothing gets damaged. So plugging in your laptop doesn't mean it's blindly pumping in power nonstop. That traffic cop is calculating exactly when to top things off and when to hit the brakes to keep your machine safe. A lot of people picture electricity endlessly pushing into the laptop, even after it reaches 100%. In reality, once the battery is full, the system usually stops actively charging it. At that point, the laptop can rely much more on external power instead of constantly cycling the battery. The practical benefit is that the battery does not have to go through as much repeated use while the laptop is plugged in. Instead of constantly draining a little and filling back up again, it can remain more stable for longer periods. And there is another advantage. Many laptops allow higher sustained performance when plugged in because they are no longer trying to conserve battery power. That can give the processor and graphics system more room to perform at their normal full-speed range, especially during heavier tasks. So, leaving your laptop plugged in after it is charged does not automatically mean you are damaging the battery. In many modern systems, it can actually reduce unnecessary cycling and help the machine run more efficiently. So if staying plugged in isn't the big villain, what actually wears a battery out over time? Charge cycles. What exactly is a charge cycle? Think of your battery like a water bottle. One cycle is counted when you drink 100% of that bottle. But here's the thing, you don't have to chug it all at once. If you use 50% today, charge it back up, and use another 50% tomorrow, boom, your computer logs that as one complete charge cycle. It's like finishing the whole bottle over 2 days instead of one sitting. Here's the catch. Every battery leaves the factory with a specific quota of cycles. For most laptops, that's somewhere between 300 and 1,000. As those cycles add up, the battery gradually holds less charge than it did when it was new. Because of this, if you're constantly unplugging your laptop and draining it to zero, you're hitting that quota way sooner than you need to. Every time you drain and refill the battery, you're using up a little more of its long-term lifespan. If leaving your laptop plugged in has officially been cleared of all charges, then who's the real final boss destroying your battery life? The answer comes down to one simple word: heat. The hotter your laptop gets, the more chaotic its internal chemical reactions become, causing your battery capacity to literally evaporate. This is why gaming laptops usually have the fastest dying batteries. That intense heat isn't coming from the battery itself, but from the brains of the computer, your CPU and graphics card, cooking everything nearby. To handle moments of extreme power demand, some high-performance laptops use a behavior sometimes described as power borrowing. Look at it this way. Your wall charger has a set power limit. During a heavy boss fight or a 4K video render, your laptop might suddenly need a spike of energy that the charger can't handle alone. In those split seconds, your laptop borrows a tiny bit of extra muscle from the battery to keep everything smooth and lag-free. And that helps explain why modern laptops are often designed to handle long stretches of plugged-in use far better than people assume. That's also why many major laptop brands now include battery health features built specifically for long periods of plugged-in use. If staying on the charger were inherently bad for a laptop battery, manufacturers would not be building tools specifically meant to protect it under those conditions. Big brands like Apple, Dell, Lenovo, and Microsoft have rolled out smart features, often called battery charge limit or optimized charging. These systems help reduce the amount of time the battery spends sitting at a very high state of charge. Instead of sitting at 100% all day, these laptops may hold the charge at 80% or wait until the last minute to top off. Just a heads up though, not every model handles this the same way. If you're rocking an older or budget laptop without these smart limits, keeping the battery at 100% for very long periods can still add stress over time, especially on systems without smart charging features. In those cases, it may be worth avoiding 100% charge all the time if your laptop doesn't offer any battery protection settings. However, is there ever a time you should actually unplug? There is, and it really comes down to just two specific situations. That said, there are a couple of times when unplugging actually makes sense, and one mistake that can permanently damage the battery. First, every once in a while, it does not hurt to let the battery drop to around 30 or 40%. That helps your laptop's internal sensor stay accurate, so the battery percentage you see on screen is closer to reality. Heat matters too. During heavy gaming or other demanding tasks, staying plugged in usually makes sense because the laptop can perform better on wall power. But once that intense workload is over, if the machine feels unusually hot, unplugging it for a while can help reduce some of the stress on the battery as the laptop cools back down. And then there is one red line you really do not want to cross: the 0% trap. It is completely fine to use your laptop on the go, but do not let the battery hit 0% and then leave the laptop sitting unused for weeks. That can lead to deep discharge. If the battery stays depleted for too long, the chemistry inside can become unstable, and in some cases, the battery may not recover properly. That is one reason keeping your laptop plugged in can still act like a safety net. It helps prevent the battery from falling into that danger zone by accident. So no, keeping your laptop plugged in all day is not the battery death sentence people think it is. In many modern laptops, staying plugged in can actually reduce unnecessary battery wear. The bigger risks usually come from heat, deep discharge, and burning through charge cycles more often than you need to. So if you have been unplugging your laptop at 100% out of habit, this might be the moment to stop treating that like a rule. Now, I'm curious, what charging habit have you been following for years that you might rethink after this? Drop it in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, hit like, subscribe to Simple But Surprising, and I'll see you in the next one.